So students, now let us come over to question number 6 that has been given to us in the paper. Let me read out the question for you. The question says that you have to match the items in column number 1 with its main use in column number 2. So let me first of all make the table for you. A, B, C, D are silica gel, silicon, silicon and silicate. So first of all we have a silica gel, then we have silicon, then we have silicons, and then we have silicates. And the other options which we have, these are, first is your transistor, then we have ion exchangers, then we have drying agent, and the fourth option we have is a sealant. Now see, students, this concept should be very much clear to you, and that concept is like silica gel is very commonly used as a drying agent. So option number A should be linked with the third option, because we know that for the drying agent we generally use silica. Not only this, we also know this thing, like whenever you have a drying agent, like whenever you buy some bottle from market, the bottles in which you keep water in summers, these also are having those silica gel so that they can absorb all the moisture. So that is confirmed use of silica gel, that is, it is used as a drying agent. Now coming over to the silicon we know that it is used in transistors. So we know that you use p block elements in the transistors. This must be studied in physics also. So we can very easily say that option number B should be linked with option number 1. Now moving ahead, I can simply say that the silicates, if I look for, they are used as ion exchangers. So we know that silicates can be used in ion exchangers, and they are basically used for the purification of substances. So option number D will be linked with option number 2. And finally we'll be left with option number C, which can be linked to sealant, option number 4. So this is what I have marked. Let me look into the options what are available there in the question. So the first option says that A is linked to 2, second option says that A is linked to 3, A is linked to 2 and A is linked to 4. But we say that A is linked to 3, so either option, so the only first option available to us is option number 2 here. Let's find it out. So we can say that A is linked to 2, good enough. So we say A is linked to 3 part, that's what is matched. Then we can say B is linked to first, again matches with what we have written. C is linked to 4, again matches with what we have written. So D must have been linked to 2. So the option number 2 is the correct option for this particular question. Now once done with this particular question, let us move ahead to question number 7th. Now what is said in question number 7th? Let me read out the question for you. Question number 7 says that 5 liters of an alkane requires 25 liters of oxygen for its complete combustion. Now if all the volumes are measured at constant temperature and pressure, you need to tell what should be the formula for the alkane. Now see, I'll write on the question for you first of all. It says that you are taking 5 liters of alkane and you are mixing it with 25 liters of oxygen, and you are going to do the complete combustion. Now once we do the complete combustion, we remember that this has to be done at the constant temperature and also at constant pressure. Now since he is talking about alkane, I can write the general formula of alkane as CnH2n plus 2. combining with oxygen to form carbon dioxide and water, because he has referred to complete combustion. Now the very first thing I'll ask you to go for is to balance the reaction which is given to us. So I'll say CnH2n plus 2 will be combining with 3n plus 1 whole divided by 2 of oxygen. It's gonna give us n times of carbon dioxide plus n plus 1 times of water. Now since we have balanced the reaction, if we move on, I can say that using the ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. Now what we have been given in the question is that the reaction is carried out at constant temperature and pressure. So when pressure and temperature is kept to be constant, we can say that volume is directly proportional to number of moles. So whether I am talking in the terms of number of moles or I am talking in the terms of volume, this is one and the same thing. Now moving ahead with the basic thing, I can say that 1 mole of CnH2n plus 2 requires oxygen. How many moles? So according to the equation you can say 3n plus 1 by 2 moles. So I can say that 1 liter of CnH2n plus 2 requires oxygen is equal to 3n plus 1 by 2 liters. But we were given how many liters of alkane? We were given 5 liters. So they will be requiring 5 into 3n plus 1 whole divided by 2 liters. Now again I'll say, according to the question that has been given to me, 5 by 2 into 3n plus 1 should be equated to 25. So I can say this is 5. So I can say 3n plus 1 should be equal to 10. 3n should be equal to 9, where n comes out to be 3. So when n is equal to 3, CnH2n plus 2 comes out to be C3H8, which is nothing but propane. Let us see what are the options that have been given to us for this particular question. The options are butane, isobutane, propane and ethane. So I can say option number 3 is the correct option for this particular question. Now students, having done with question number 7, it's a time when we should come over to question number 8. So let us start over with question number 8. Now what is said in this question number 8 is, it says that the group of molecules having identical shape is. So this is question number 8 and you need to basically approach the molecules which are having identical shape. Now let us go for the first option. The first option is ClF3xCOF2 xCF3 positive. So let us say ClF3. We here have to use the very simple formula of half number of valence electrons of central atom plus number of atoms attached by single bond plus minus the charge. Like for example, if there is a positive charge, you need to subtract it, and if there is a negative charge, you need to add it, because for a cation we subtract the charge, for anion we add up the charge. So let's try to use up this formula for all the options given to us. The first is ClF3, half number of valence electrons of central atom 7 plus number of atoms attached by single bond 3. So this comes out to be 5. Out of 5, 3 are bond pairs and 2 are lone pairs. So 5, if the steric number is 5, it should be trigonal bipyramidal. But since you have 2 of them as lone pairs, so they must be kept at the position which is having more percentage S character. That means the lone pair should be kept at the equatorial position, and hence the overall shape comes out to be bent T. Now let us go over to the other option. This is xCOF2. So this is half 8 number of valence electrons of central atom plus number of atoms attached by single bond. We have 2 here. See students, oxygen should not be taken as a point of confusion because oxygen is generally known to form 2 bonds. So we can say here it again comes out to be 5, out of which 3 will be bond pairs and 2 will be lone pairs. Again, let me first of all draw trigonal bipyramidal. Now, so we'll be keeping, let's say oxygen is kept here, fluorine will be kept at S-less position and 2 lone pairs will be kept here. So again it comes out to be bent T. Coming over to the third option, this is XeF3 positive. Half number of valence electrons of central atom 8 plus number of atoms attached by single bond 3. Since it is a positive charge, so you need to subtract it. Again 5, out of which 3 will be bond pairs and 2 will be lone pairs. So again let me first of all draw trigonal bipyramidal, keeping the 2 lone pairs here, so the option comes out to be bent T. So dear students, all these 3 have got bent T shape, which is nothing but similar shape. So we can say that option number 1 will be the correct option in this particular case. Also, if you want to check out, let's check it out for another option, PCl5. Half 5 plus 5, 10, which comes out to be 5. All 5 are bond pairs, whereas 0 lone pair, and hence this cannot be the right answer. Similarly, IF5, half 7 plus 5, 12 by 2, 6, 5 and 1. Now if you draw square bipyramidal and 1 is lone pair, the shape is not similar to what we have obtained as bent T, and hence this is also not the correct answer. So students, I suppose you got the answer for this particular question also. Now done with 8th question, let's come over to question number 9th. Let's see what is the question number 9th in this case. So question number 9th, it says that a particular adsorption process has the following character traits. So what are the character traits which are given to us? It says that it arises due to van der Waals forces of attraction and it is also reversible. Now you have to identify the correct statement that describes the above adsorption process in the best possible manner. And the options that have been given to us are: adsorption increases with increase in temperature, adsorption is monolayer, energy of activation is low, and enthalpy of adsorption is greater than 100 kilojoules per mole. So see students, let me write down the options for you again. The character traits of adsorption which has been given to us are, first of all, it raises, or it, let us simply say that it arises due to van der Waals forces only. Now students, if it okay, this is first, and second point which is given to us is it is reversible. Now students, be very particular about the options that have been given. First, it says that it arises due to van der Waals forces. That means there is no special kind of chemical force between the layer and the molecules which are adsorbed. That means it is indicating that the nature of adsorption is physisorption. Because if it would have been a chemisorption, then there would have been some chemical forces also which would be responsible for the adsorption. Secondly, it says that it is reversible. That means once you have the surface and once the molecules are coming and they are forming a layer on the surface, they have the capability to go back also. Whereas again I'll say, if it is a chemical adsorption, then once there is a bond formation, the bond cannot break easily. That means again this option is indicating that the adsorption here is physisorption. So we have concluded what kind of adsorption we have. Now let us come over to the options. Since, let me read the question, you have to identify the correct statement. So the first statement is adsorption increases with increase in temperature. So dear students, if it is a physics option, then how can I say that adsorption is going to increase with the increase in temperature? Like if you are giving more energy to the molecules, they will have more energy and hence they will not be stable on the particular platform. So this is not the correct option regarding physics option. Second option, adsorption is monolayer. Again, I'll say this is a wrong option because the monolayer adsorption will be in the case of chemisorption. But this is not chemisorption case, so this is again false statement. The third is energy of activation is low. This is a correct statement. Now why is this statement correct? Because it's just a physics option. The amount of energy required for activation is very less, and I'll say this is the correct option. Coming over to the fourth option, you have enthalpy of adsorption is greater than 100 kilojoule per mole. So it says that enthalpy of adsorption is greater than 100 kilojoules per mole. So dear students, this is again a false statement because if it would have been a chemisorption, then only it would have followed this particular character trait. So I'll say option number 3 is the only correct option out of the 4 options which are given to us in this particular question. So done with this question, let us move over to question number 10th now. Now what is said in question number 10th? Let me read it out for you. Question number 10 says that the correct order of solubility of alkaline earth metal sulfates in water is. That means now we have to follow the solubility order, and that too of alkaline earth metal sulfates. That means he's asking us to find out whether MgSO4, CaSO4, SrSO4 and BSO4. Like if I compare the solubility of all these 4 sulfates, which is going to be the most soluble compound. Now students, you know that if you have an ionic compound A plus B minus, and if the size of these two cations and anions is approximately similar, that means the force of attraction will be maximum, the bond will be completely ionic in nature. And since we know that ionic bond is the most stable thing which can ever be there, so we can say that the solubility will be less because it will be more stable. Now let me write them down. You have magnesium, calcium, strontium and barium. Now since I know that sulfate is approximately the size of this barium, the last cation that we are having, if I ask you to draw the arrow, let's draw the arrow between all these cations and an ion. Now I'll say that for any particular pair or for any particular couple, if the length of the arrow will be maximum, that means what? The solubility will be maximum. That means now we can say that since I can say that magnesium is smallest in size and sulfate is the biggest in size, so the arrow of MgSO4 is much greater in length as compared to CaSO4, which is greater in length as compared to SrSO4, which is greater in length as compared to BSO4. And the same will be the order of solubility also. So if I ask you to match the options that are available to us, the options will be, let us look into the options. We have the options as magnesium, calcium, strontium and barium. So we can simply say that magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium is the correct option for this particular question. And hence student, we are done with option number 1 as the correct option.